Morning, everyone. Charts are looking pretty interesting. What do you all think? All right. Good morning, everyone. Get my chart up there. Can everybody hear me okay? If you all just throw up a Y up there, if you can hear me. All right, beautifully executed. Let's see here. So I'm going to walk us through. Let's take a look at what we're seeing this morning. Going to start out here. We'll start out a little bit higher. Right, we'll go 1 hour. Take an overview. We'll take a glance. NASDAQ has been going down for quite some time. Overall, it's a larger down moving market. We do have 3 days of breakouts coming into the end of last week. And, this breakout of Thursday's low and the lower close, they pretty much ran it into the close. And at the beginning of the day, now we've started to kind of trail back up. So down on a lower time frame, you'll be able to see pretty clearly peak formation high, peak formation low. Now we have consolidation in the middle that we've been trailing back up towards the high. The only two thoughts in my brain are going to be, if this breakout occurs, are we going back to the high? Will this turn into a range expansion of the box to go back up to previous day's high? Or are we doing 3 levels of rise, peak formation low, 1, 2, and maybe 3 to the high for the New York Open in a down moving market? 3 levels of rise in a down moving market is the basically the setup for the pump and the dump. That's really it. That's my only two thoughts on this index. The fact that we're down fairly low, and maybe we have shorts and volume trap down low. We're going to go back for the high Monday opening range. So we'll see. But I like the NASDAQ. This is definitely something that I would like to watch. Take a look at US 30. Now, US 30 is a very different picture. Again, very down moving market. We had this really big peak formation high, even on the daily chart. You can see the peak formation high was formed, and we've been coming down. And on the daily chart, maybe now we have peak formation low, down, up, down, and Friday was the engulfment back up to the upside, and then now we have today. Let's go down. We'll take a look. This was supposed to be a first green day as well, where they've traded down to and through the previous, or down through the low of the week, or at the low of the week. And they put a huge peak formation in at the low of the week and closed above the opening price for that day, making that first green day. And we'll go back and we'll take a look at high of previous week for Monday, because that could be where they're reaching. And now we're trailing price higher and higher. Looking for this to go vertical. Am I going to take the long trade on this? Probably not. We can go down. We'll frame the day. Lower time frames. Peak formation low. End of yesterday. And we've kind of came up once, twice, and then now maybe up for 3. We've already triggered previous day's high on this pair as well, which is good for me. I like that. I like the fact that that has already been triggered at the beginning of the day, prior to the New York session even beginning. All right. So US 30 first green day, looking for a buy low opportunity. Really no buy low opportunity at this given moment. We're actually at the high of the current day after what appears to maybe have been 3 levels up. We've triggered previous day's high, whatever. That being said, that doesn't mean that this cannot continue to go higher. So if they pull back, 9:30 opens up, breakout pullback, this could very well just keep going. So I need to be careful of that. It's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. No reason to get amped up and start taking trades. However, oil. I think this is the first week of breakouts to the downside. We had this big week right here that was not an inside week. But this is the low of that week right here. And then now last week broke out of that previous week's level and closed lower. So basically first week of breakouts to the downside. We've triggered previous day's low today already. Peak formation high was made at the beginning of the day in Asia, and they came down 3 levels, put in a peak formation low. So what does that tell me? That tells me that there's a low in place and a high in place for the day. And so far, we've traded back up towards that high. Again, session has just opened up, and we're already trailing away from the high of the day, and also, the peak formation high that was already put up here. So this definitely needs some waiting. Going to be waiting for something, but we need to be at levels or at an area of the chart that makes sense, not just in the middle of a range. But I like this. I mean, I want to be watching oil. The CAD as well. I think the CAD is maybe setting up really well for what appears to be at this very given time a short squeeze, if that were to present. I mean, this looks, as far as criteria goes, it looks fairly decent. We had peak formation high, peak formation low. They've traded back down into the low 3 times, and we have a lower consolidation now, this little box. A part of a larger consolidation for the day. And overall, a part of a larger consolidation or a larger rectangle coming off of Friday from last week. This low and that high to end the day. It's built a nice rectangle. I definitely want to be watching this as my currency pair. The way that this is shaping and forming. Number one, is this lower consolidation, this lower rectangle, is the breakout going to succeed? Or is it going to fail? And this is like 1, 2, and 3 back up into previous day's low and it rolls over. If it rolls over, that's not the setup that I would be looking for. We're at previous day's low, and they've worked it 3 times. We've gone into a consolidation, a smaller rectangle within a larger rectangle. That's what I would be looking for, and if that doesn't present, then I'm not going to take anything on this. But I do kind of like this, the way this is kind of formed. Ooh, that kind of looks like a really big head and shoulders, though, doesn't it? Like we're up high. I'm not going to worry about that. Still going to watch this. That's my thesis for the day. And if that doesn't play out or, prove to be true, then so be it. Gold, again, moving very early in the day. And actually on Friday, I already had this thesis about this is where the pump began. Peak formation high from the Friday 2 weeks ago. We had this pump beginning right here, and then level 1, push 2, level 2, push 3, level 3, peak formation high at the high of the current week. And then now we've broken down, and you can actually see the larger rectangle and the space to get back down to where that pump began. That's personally what I would be looking for. So maybe a low-hanging fruit to get back down there. And, kind of, I don't really believe in coincidences. But if you do a range expansion of Friday's high-low, that puts us pretty much exactly where that pump began. So maybe that's where we're headed. If not, if it starts going vertical back up, so be it. But I'd like to see kind of a pump, maybe peak formation low, and then they put in a peak formation high to continue that trend down through where that pump began. Also, we've got Friday's low, and they broke out once, twice, now 3 times. So that could be a possibility as well for why not to go short. Either way, I'm fine with this. I think gold is a really good option to be watching for either one of those theses. Breakout 1, 2, 3 to the low. It's the low of the current week. They don't have to go back down to where that pump began today, but that is personally what I would be looking for. Over the course of 2 weeks, a pump, and then for a dump, back down. All right. Euro USD. Now, I had this in pump and dump. Again, very similar pattern to gold. It's just the pattern didn't take quite as long to form, and that's okay. Peak formation low at the low of Thursday. Peak formation high at the high of the current week on Wednesday, and they traded back up into that in 3 levels. 1, 2, 3. 3 levels means absolutely nothing, but then they put in a new peak formation high at the high of the day on Friday and broke down. They made a lower low back down on the inside, and again, pumped it back up once and twice and 3 times. 3 levels means absolutely nothing, except then they put in a peak formation high, and they broke down. And now they are trailing back down to where I believe that pump began from, down here. Where are we at now? We've got about 21 or so pips of space to get down for low-hanging fruit. Is that really worth it to me? I'm not sure. But if it's the easy trade for the day, I might be watching this as well. Let's see. And that's really it. All these other ones down here, I kind of just saw them and was like, whatever. I didn't see much that I would be even willing to look at. I think Euro JPY was probably the better option. This huge where the pump is began, and this came up, once, twice, 3 times, peak formation high. They worked back up into the high, and now it appears to be maybe breaking down. Again, that's not really a trading setup. But, pump and a dump is, but, appears to be breaking down. It's not a setup. But the pump, 3 levels of rise, larger rectangle at the high of this current week, and also the high of last week. This could be where that pump began. And we got a lot of space to get back down there, if that's the case. All right, so that's kind of my thesis for the day. That gives me a few things to watch. Few things to look for, and I think this Monday is set up pretty well for something. It looks like there's easy money to be made today. We just need to search, look for the best option, and then perfect the execution. And that is what we are going to aim to do. So I'm going to throw up both of the indexes. I'm going to throw up oil, and I've got gold up here on the screen. And what I'm going to do is on my other screen, since I've got the added benefit of having to, I'm going to throw up a currency pair or 2 on my other screen. But I think I'm primarily just going to focus on these 4 because, they're all 4 set up decent for something, whether it be low-hanging fruit or a pump and a dump or something like that. And now I just need to wait for time expiration to tell me, hey, congratulations, you were patient enough. Market's trapped everybody at the high or at the low. It's triggered a level, and now you're doing all right. All right. Hope you all are doing good. Very good weekend. I saw someone say something about my wedding. I have not got married yet. It's next weekend. But thank you. And now we get to do what trading is, and that is just wait and wait patiently. I'm going to get us down to a 5. I think the 5-minute chart's going to give us the best view. It's still mighty early in the morning. We have no news on the calendar today, if I'm not mistaken. US 30 is up in what I believe to be maybe level 3. for the day. Now, I don't want to counter trend something that's going on a larger range expansion on a Monday. If they are looking to expand to the upside, I don't want to participate in that. But we'll see. Neil, I really appreciate all the input, but to be honest, you're kind of just chucking buy and sell into the chat. I don't know what your reasoning is, and maybe you have a good one, but it's mighty early in the day. All right, I'm still watching. I've got CAD up on my other screen, and actually, I think I need to find a. They actually just on the 1 minute chart, they just put in a higher high. I need to figure out, is there a future signal that I can maybe look at for the CAD? It's one of the first ones, US dollar CAD. Nope, futures, currencies, Canadian dollar futures. Oh boy, that looks like a bunch of check marks. Okay. Also, correlation wise, Canadian dollar futures going up. US dollar CAD was going down. So if I'm looking for a buy on US dollar CAD, that would mean that I'm looking for a sell on the futures in theory. JM, I trade futures, so if I'm looking to take a trade, I need to look at the Canadian dollar futures. It's ticker 6C1 exclamation mark. In fact, I need to log into my broker too. What am I doing? Okay, I got myself logged in here. I'm gonna double check and make sure they look the same, just flipped over. Yep, that looks the same. All right, so CAD futures market is going up. US dollar CAD is going down. So if I'm sitting here telling or saying to myself, this is looking like maybe it could be a buying opportunity, that would mean that on the futures pair, I would be looking for a selling opportunity. And if it's a selling opportunity here, I'd be looking for a buying opportunity on the other one, which is just fine. I just need to make sure I click the right button if that time presents. A lot of markets aren't even open yet. We're still just in that. Why do I have gold up here 3 times, 4 times? What is happening? There we go. Everybody able to see my screen okay? Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. I've got the screen, it's really small up there. I'm trying to make sure you all can see at least what pairs I'm looking at. What if I do this? Should bring it over to the right a little bit so then you can see not only the candles and everything, but what pair I'm on. I didn't even really look at the Australian pair. I don't usually watch Australian pairs. Not really for any particular reason, I guess. The list of pairs that I currently watch is enough. You know, like I don't really equate watching more pairs to, you know, more opportunity. It just means I have more things to watch. Now I am looking on the day for the pair that is set up the best, but if I have, you know, 40 pairs to watch or whatever, you know, a lot of times I just don't even bother looking at all of the other ones because, you know, it's just more stress. Okay. NASDAQ has been coiling for hours. Yep. Vivek, good to see you. Let's see, how many people are in here right now? It's mighty quiet out there. Blaze, good morning to you. Good morning. For anybody just tuning in, I've got NASDAQ up on there, US 30, oil, gold. I'm still watching the CAD as well. Could be good. I wonder what natural gas is doing. Oh boy. Okay. Natural gas. What about soybeans? I've actually never taken any trades on those pairs before. But there might come a day when I see it and it's perfect. Platinum. That's another one that I really have never ventured into. I do have silver on the list. I've never taken a trade on it, but I've got it up because one day maybe silver sets up better than gold for some reason. But other than that, pound yen. Let's go take a look real quick. Since we got plenty of time. There's no rush. There's no hurry. Pound yen. We'll start up here. Okay. Last week was very coiled, very consolidated. Actually, last week was an inside week. They have not triggered previous week's high or low. and we haven't triggered previous day's high or low either. This is one I would just avoid. It's on the inside completely from not only last week but today as well. Just building the opening range, we haven't triggered previous day's high or low. Other time frame traders, it's just whenever. Okay, so think about a daily chart, like a larger. If I wasn't looking at a 15 or a 5 or whatever, go up to a daily. Other time frame traders are getting triggered in at the breaks of previous days' levels. And that's really it. That's really all there is to it. That's where all the big money comes in. There's a lot of speculation around those levels. Watching for behavior of price at those levels. What did I have up there before? US 30? The Dixie? It's really not a pair that I watch at all, but we can certainly take a look at it. Peak formation high. Hasn't triggered previous day's high. And it's a Monday. Nvidia? No. Unfortunately, that's not something that I'm really looking to do. So we'll put US 30 back up there. Got about 128 in here right now, which is fantastic. Hope you all are doing well. If you all could just do me a huge favor, if you have not already, hit that fancy little like button. It does help out the stream quite a bit. I do appreciate it. 50%, a London range, Asian high. Vivek, thank you. Yeah, Stuart, I think that might be a little too much. I mean, we're pretty on the inside given that this high and low end of day consolidation yesterday. They put in a high, they put in a low, and we're just trading on the inside of that rectangle. To be honest, I really would like to see one side or the other kind of break. Oh, y'all about to get some ads. I'm going to skip that for you. Yeah, so gold just put in a low. Now I'm on a 15-minute chart, and that is a W at the low of the day. So this has put in a low of day. Remember, we were talking about being careful, not just to assume this is going to continue to go down. But if they put in a low and then they pump it back up 3 times or 3 levels or whatever, we are still in a down moving market. So depending on the timing of everything, maybe looking for low hanging fruit back down through the low, and then, we'll see. I can't sit here and speculate about what is going to happen at 9 o'clock or 9:30. But once we get a bit closer to those times and I start to see things setting up a bit better, or maybe they don't set up at all. I'll be able to speak on it a bit more. My plan is to do this throughout this week, but kind of on the back half of this week, I'm going to be, for obvious reasons, I'm getting married this weekend, so I'm going to be probably like Thursday, Friday. I might not be able to do these live sessions because I'll have family and things like that. But we will see. So like the only information I have on gold right now is the fact that, we have a high in place from the high of yesterday and coming into today, and then they put in a low, but they've gone lower, so the low is not in place yet. And now maybe they're looking for a little bit of a short squeeze beginning of the session. No big deal. We'll continue to watch this later in the session. But also, again, I just want to keep in mind that they broke out once, twice, and 3 times. And that doesn't mean that they can't just keep going by any means. But, that's in the back of my head. I don't want to get caught as one of the shorts. Shaky, appreciate it. Do you use Peter Brandt style for your trading? Peter Brandt talks about classical charting and using those patterns. So to an extent, sure. Double tops, double bottoms, ascending, descending triangles, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. Absolutely. Now he does everything on a higher time frame. Daily, weekly, monthly charts. But in a way, we're just doing the exact same thing on a lower time frame and adding a few other things in there to look for specific setups and things like that, like the 3-day cycle and the different kinds of signal days and things like that, whereas he is trading, I think, primarily based off of larger classical charting patterns. Same thing with like Edwards McGee, Schaubacher. Those books back from the 30s and 40s, all about classical charting. Now, I'm not using like diamond pattern and all that other. There's a lot of patterns out there, and I certainly don't need to use all of them. I just need to have a basic understanding of really just double tops, double bottoms, ascending, descending triangle, and then like the fact that head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. This is an inverse head and shoulders right here. And then honestly, what I mainly focus on with classical charting is not the pattern itself, but the psychology of the pattern. You want to talk about being capable of keeping yourself out of nonsense. So if I have a descending triangle, what is the psychology of a descending triangle? Psychology of a descending triangle is they're trapping shorts, getting them to short early, but they're trapping longs as well. And each time that they run it back down, the high is descending. So that means I can visually see the longs getting sucked in lower and lower, and then it breaks. So I'm not trading breakouts of geometrical patterns simply based off of, hey, that's an ascending or descending triangle. I try to look at it from the psychology aspect more because it can help confirm what I'm doing. And if they start letting out one side of the market or the other, maybe I don't want to take that trade, or I need to wait. Can you combine SMC? I guess you could, but you don't really need to. I feel like that would just be really confusing. I'm a very, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of guy. And, with SMC, it's like, number one, it's just a bunch of names for things that, let's be honest, there's a lot of names for a lot of those trades that are just super fancy, complicated names with a bunch of super fancy, complicated criteria, that becomes very confusing. In my opinion, I think that this is a lot more simple and easy to follow, and I don't really need to look for all that other stuff. I just need to look for M's, W's, high of day, low of day, peak formations, 3 levels, first red, first green. Like, that's all very simple stuff. That's not, it's not complicated at all. David, I kind of agree. And all this stuff about fair value gap and all this other stuff, it's like, for every fair value gap that I see, I can go back and find 35 that didn't work out. So, take that with what it is. I'm sure it works for some people. Maybe it's just me. It could just be my lack of understanding of the system. So I'm not sitting here like attacking SMC, but I haven't found success with it, and I never tried to. So, it is what it is. And also the fact that, I see a lot of people use those gaps and order blocks and whatever, and they're using limit orders to get in. And then it just blows through and they get stopped out for no reason. It's like, I don't like using limit orders because I feel like I'm telling the market that it's going to do something, and I'm trying to predict, like, oh yeah, it's going to hit that point right there. And I'm so smart, I'm so intelligent that from that point right there, it's going to go back down or go up. That's absolutely not what I'm trying to do here. Yeah. I also don't really care for the fact that, I don't watch SMC videos, but I swear I feel like every couple of months, I pull up YouTube and I see this new crazy setup that it's going viral because so many people are like, oh my gosh, he said that this setup could make me, do whatever. And it's like, but why is there a new one every few months? Where are all these coming from? If you have a list of setups, 5 or 6, why do you need more? Why do you need more setups? The market repeats the same cycles over and over again, whether it be throughout the day, the week, or the month. They repeat the same exact cycles over and over again. So why do I need to start looking for new setups? I don't. That's where, Stacey says there's nothing new under the sun, and that is so true. It's been doing the same thing over and over again for however long, because the market is based off of us as human beings, our psychology. And unless people's psychology has somehow improved over the last few years, which, let's be honest, I highly doubt, it's going to keep moving the same way. That's why if you go back and watch some of my very first videos, now I did remove a few of them because, again, let's be honest, my first few YouTube videos were when I made them, I thought they were good, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fantastic. And then now going back and looking, I kind of cringe a little bit. So I removed them. But if you go back and watch some of the much older YouTube videos on my channel, I haven't changed anything. It's all exactly the same, which for my YouTube channel is probably not good because I'm just going to keep posting the same exact content and information over and over again. But for the trader who's trying to really grasp this stuff and actually wants to learn and make money, then seeing the same exact thing over and over again is, I mean, that's honestly what people need. So I'm not going to come up with some new setup and put it on the internet just so I can get clicks and views. That's not what I set out to do when I made my YouTube channel. We're really off topic from trading, but you all got me on a little rant here. Oh, yeah, that is the one thing I changed. I added a mustache. Level, I was profitable and already trading full-time by the time his playbook came out. So I just learned from his old videos, the whiteboard videos, the OG. And even some of the ones where he still had the Asia, London, New York intro from like 7 years ago. I even watched a few of those. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were just tuning in, or if, just in case I didn't say this at the beginning of this, not that I've taken any trades, so nothing I'm saying should have influenced. But nothing on this channel is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and the information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind. Please feel free to read through this so that way you know and you're 100% certain. This is all for educational purposes only. Everything at the beginning of this video on my channel and otherwise. All right. Just going to get that out of the way since we're going to be spending probably the next couple hours together. This is not a buy-sell signal service of any kind. I am doing these live streams not only because I am personally trading, but I want to share my experience with you all so that hopefully my thought process and understanding will hopefully bleed off onto a few of you, and it will help and benefit. Yep. Leaf Ninja techniques. That's so funny. I seem to make jokes about, you know, the names of the different setups and things because it frustrates me a little bit when I see like, oh, this is the new I can't even think of like one of the names. I call this the turtle batwing pattern or whatever. And you look at it and it's just a head and shoulders or an opening range breakout. It's like, that's cool. So that was talked about like 40 years ago and you just renamed it and then you're selling it. I mean, that's cool. But is that really helping people that don't understand the origin? I don't know. Tis what it is. Okay, so US 30 is continuing to break out and go higher, which is fine. We're about to come into a new hour in 15 minutes. This is the high of the day right now. Same thing with the NASDAQ. This is broke out, made a higher high, and then pulled back. They put in a low, maybe confirming that we're going to go up another level, but this is the high of the current day coming into the new hour. Oil has come down and gone back into consolidation now. You can kind of see this nice little rectangle forming and building. And I have lost track of the CAD. I stopped watching the CAD. Oh, there it is. And it's still in consolidation, so that's fine. Hey, so Asimovic, there is times where you can do that, and it certainly does work. You measure where was the peak formation made, what level, and then you can count up 3 levels. One thing that I noticed is, for me personally, that I was consistently not counting the correct amount. So, like, 25 pip box, and I would measure up 3 levels of 25 from there, and then it would go an extra 100 pips to the upside because that day the market had decided that it wanted to move in 50 pip increments or something like that, right? So I found that to be a good way of measuring, yes. Or if you've noticed that we have gone up 3 levels and the 100 pip box has gone up 3 levels, I think that is beneficial. However, I do not rely solely on that information because I found it to be too inconsistent. And I have found measuring 3 levels using price and looking and observing the stair step to be far more effective. And then once the peak formation high is formed, just looking at the 100 pip box and saying, okay, well, the peak formation high was formed at that level, so that could be my level to watch. I found that thought process to be much more effective and less, a lot less guesswork. And hopefully that answers your question, but yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it works pretty well. Buy high, sell low kind of trader. Hopefully that was satire. Yeah, the last thing you want to be is that push 3, level 3, biggest candle on the chart buyer at the high trader. That's the best. Happens sometimes? Yeah, sure, absolutely. And I found that where I get caught doing that is the most common times where I get caught doing that is if I think it's a parabolic channel and we're at the high of the day and I think it's going to go vertical because of the channel. And I find myself getting caught sometimes trying to do that. And I'm wrong about the overall thesis. And that's totally fine. I just manage it accordingly and I get out or reduce risk as it's going against me and then get stopped out. Who cares, But that's usually where I'm getting caught buying high or selling lows because I think it's a parabolic channel that winds up being a consolidation at the high or the low that reverses. Yeah, Tyler, exactly. Like even let's say that you're in what you believe to be the third level and it goes vertical and you missed a trade, who cares? Because how many times was the understanding of being in level 3 going to save you? If it saves you more times than it hurts you, because missing a trade doesn't hurt you. Missing a trade just means you didn't take the trade. Honestly, who cares? You didn't lose money. You preserved your capital. But how many times are you in level 3 and you think I'm going to go long or short, whatever, and then it just goes vertical and whatever. You've missed it. Wrong thesis. We'll go into tomorrow and do the same exact thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a very well hydrated human being. We've got about 10 minutes, so I will be back in about 60 seconds or so, and we'll continue our discussion. I know that I'm just kind of sitting here rambling, so if you're like, man, what's this guy going on about? I'm just waiting. This is just a waiting game, and you all are kind of helping me do that because I'm just waiting for the clock to go to 9 o'clock, and then the clock to make it to 9:30. And then the clock to make it to 10 o'clock, and all of the time in between is irrelevant. I'm just, sitting here patiently. So I'll come back. If you'll have questions, chuck them up there in the chart or in the chat box, and I'll come back and I'll get them answered for you. So if you've got them, this is a great time for you to be asking. Okay, let's see. Is there any questions? Do you count based off 15-minute chart? Blaze. Hey, so for a weekly template, to see the overall week, I think it's easiest if you do use 15 and 1 hour charts. When I go down to frame my day and I'm trying to find peak formations on the day, high and low, I tend to gravitate towards the 5-minute because I think that the pattern on the day itself, the 5-minute chart, is perfect. But that being said, you don't have to. You could easily use the 15. I just think that the count is a bit easier on the day with a shorter time frame. I think the 1 minute would be it's too short. Okay, so gold, pump and dump. It's doing exactly. It's just moving very early. It kind of hurts the soul to see, but that's exactly what we just talked about. Peak formation low. They've came back up. Now this turns into a peak formation high. They just engulf that to the downside right here. 4 days, Wasabi. Engulfments and how to use them. The engulfment of up, down, up. This is a peak formation high in a down moving market. It's just the neckline of that engulfment. It's an M, right? It's a double top. This is the neckline of the double top. They've engulfed it. Lower time frame, I'd be looking, but I've definitely missed that, so it's fine. Time engulfment. Yep. So if we're sitting at the high or the low, in fact, Jay, I'll challenge you to go back and just study the reversal of price. Down here, 1 hour bar. So this is a new hour open. So this bar opened, traded down, and then they engulfed it back up to the upside. Was there a new 15-minute bar in here anywhere? 405, 410. So that's 415 right there. 415 and 4 o'clock have stacked almost perfectly on top of each other. And then once they go back up above that price, you see how they use that as like a support or resistance area? It's not support and resistance. It's that guy right there. If he's short, and he's short. Think of it like that. Where are people caught and why? What is the reason? In this down move, leg 1, leg 2, push 2 induces people to start taking action, and push 3 makes them, or level 3 induces them to take action at the worst possible place in the chart. If I sold that candle, or if I sold the breakout, this candle closed and I sold, this candle closed and I sold, where are people trapped? Where are people caught? And then you can use the time, and a lot of times those aspects line up almost perfectly, which they kind of have here. And that's just one example, of course, but I wonder what the spread is like on this. I'm like kind of scared. I've never taken a trade on the CAD futures. Trying to find the bid and the ask. I don't keep that up on the screen. But this chart is wild looking. Oh, that spread's fairly wide. Yeah, I can see it up on my screen right now. SB on futures, and also these contract sizes are pretty small. Um, like I'm short on CAD futures, but I don't even know if it's worth it at this point because um, the value is so small. You can see this. This is exactly what I was talking about this morning. About this looked like maybe it was going to set up for a short squeeze, and I don't know if this is going to continue. The next bar could form and go straight down. Whatever. But as of right now, I'm okay with how this is moving. Yeah, I did. Sharon, I'm not really too sure about how I feel about it because the number one, the spread is kind of ridiculous. Two, the contract sizes are really small. Um, they could go all the way back to the high of the day, and I wouldn't even feel it. I probably would care less. Now, if they start running back up, I'm not going to just hold on and get stopped out for more money. That's kind of silly, but um, we'll see. Like right now, I'm in $15 of drawdown. I don't even know if it's honestly. I don't know if it's worth watching as far as futures go. Size into it. I am. I'm actually at max size right now because I'm using my funded account, and on the funded account, until I get up to what $1,500 of profit, I can only go up to 2 contracts. No, I have to be flat at the end of the day, biker. The I'm using Top Step, and they want you to be flat, which I'm fine with because I don't hold that stuff overnight anyways. Okay, new hour just opened up. If this starts going for anybody who has CAD futures, 6 Charlie 1 exclamation mark. I'm in just about at previous day's high, short. If they start making a run up above previous day's high again, I'll just get out. But if it starts making a run to the downside, I will hold on. And I'm going to probably hold for either the low of the day or maybe yesterday's close. You know, if it does start making its move down. Man, this spread is ruthless. Goodness gracious. Now with the new hour opening up, we're either going to see a reversal or a continuation, so I need to be watching to see, you know, which one of those. So this is engulfed this lower rectangle, which is good, because that means that we might push up through or to the larger rectangle. Low of day, low of week. But of course, this market only does 3 things: breakout, trend, breakout, reverse, or stay in a trading range. If this breakout fails and I'm wrong, I need to get out ASAP. Yes, send. Thesis on CAD. Number 1, the pattern, but peak formation high, peak formation low. They work back down into the low of Friday, put in a low, and they've worked it 1, 2, 3. They built a lower rectangle at the low of the day, giving me space to get back up to the high and also overall back up to the high. So if this larger rectangle were to expand and go vertical, that puts me pretty much right at that peak formation high up top up here, which is, I mean, that's what I want, right? That's what I'm looking for to happen. So we'll see. I'm still focusing on these other pairs as well, because my contract size is so small on this that even if I was up, even if I make the profit target, I don't even know if it's worth it. I feel like I would need like 10 contracts on this thing for it to be worth it. I probably should have just stuck with oil. Pump and a dump. Peak formation high. Broke down. Whatever. Tis what it is. I really liked this pattern, though. The way that it's built this really clean, nice rectangle. And you can see the break-in structure to the upside right here. Even on this 5-minute chart, break-in structure. And they've slammed it back down 1, 2, and 3. And then they engulfed that little W. Went into the channel and went vertical. spread is immaculately large. I've been sitting in profit for 5 minutes now, but because the spread is so big, I'm in drawdown. It's like, oh gosh. And I'm sitting here watching the spread get bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller. They are really working it. This is also one of those times if I was able to use more contracts, I would be putting... I'm not telling you all to do this. Please, this is, again, if I need to pull up that picture again, this is not financial advice. But if I was able to use more contracts right now, I would be looking for them to break, and I would add another in and allow that to run. All right. Finally in profit. Yay. $5. Fantastic. Oh, $15. Might as well call the Lamborghini dealership now. Look out. That was a joke. Not a very good one. In fact, that was a terrible joke. Yes, asset. Technically I'm long US CAD, but I'm on futures. I'm short because the markets are inverse. I'm gonna chuck myself a little take profit in here. I think that I'm gonna chuck one. Remove a contract at the low of the day if we get there. And I'll remove the other one at closing price if we get there. Neil, what are you... I don't mean to be rude, but what are you talking about? I'm just confused about what you're referencing. How do you remove objectivity? There's certain ways. So this is actually one of the ways right here, Neil. If you look at my charting from this, peak formation low, and you can just kind of look at the consolidation. Notice how they put in a peak formation high here, and then dropped it down, and they put in a low, and they started to rise, and then it broke out, and then they put in a high, and it broke that trend line to the downside. That's one way that I do it, by looking at price and seeing that little break. That kind of like confirms in my mind, the high of the next level. So is it 100%? No. Is 3 pushes, 3 levels always going to be 100% objective? No. But there's like little things that you can do like this that really help you. And whenever you see, there's going to be some days where it is just really beautifully stair-stepped, and you're in a down moving market and it's 3 levels up and it's perfect. And then there's going to be times when you're in an up moving market and you have 3 levels of drop and it's really perfect. But you want to find the ones that are really well stair-stepped like this. Not like this, but just in general. Those are the ones that I really like to look for. Because if you try and sit here and say, okay, well, that's push 1, that's push 2, that's push 3, you're going to start getting caught all up on the inside. And you can do this same thing here. So like peak formation low, right? And then you see how price moved like this. and then it broke down, confirming level 1, and then the same thing for level 2, and then now, maybe we're going up for 3 or whatever. One minute I just use for entry, and 5 minute I'm using on the day to do exactly what I just said, Neil, about looking for the price movements and things on the day. But for the larger thesis, the larger weekly template, I'm using 15 1 hour. I can tend to see those a bit better or easier. Got to tell you, I don't really feel like this is worth it. I got in pretty much at previous day's low, and I'm currently up $55. It's really not is what it is. I really would like to see it, because this is a short squeeze. I mean, they should have now hooked in. If I was short anywhere down here, I want to see them expand outside of this lower box here. Don't give these guys the opportunity to get back out of their positions. Also, we could just be working up into peak formation high that was made in London, and then this could keep going short. So, we'll certainly see. But if they start letting out these shorts, that's not right. That's not what a short squeeze is. A short squeeze is, we've got you shorting into the low of the week. We're going to blow out your account. Yeah, Gazo, it's a little bit more tame right here, but see if I can let me see if I can grab a picture of it when it gets big. Can you all see that? Oh, you can. Nice. There's the spread on this pair. It's a little... I don't know if I would trade this again. I gave it a shot, Can I ask when you would disregard 3 push patterns? Well, if this is 3 pushes or 3 levels up, same thing with this. This was first green day. And I think that I'm up 3 levels and they just keep going, I would disregard. Like if they just go vertical from this point, I would probably disregard. And it has a lot to do with timing and things. So if I believe this is 1 and I believe this is 2 and I believe we're up into 3 and it just keeps going, we might be on a larger time frame range expansion of something. And I don't want to counter trend that, if that makes sense. Because we could be doing, Friday's high low. They could be doing expansion of that range to the upside. I don't want to be counter trending something just because price has made this nice little stair step up. That would be really my one big thing is if it were to go vertical now and just keep going. All right. See, now we're working up into peak formation high that was made in London. I want to see them invalidate that peak formation. How would they invalidate that peak formation? I want to see them go higher. I want to see them blow through that high. I don't want to see them work the underside and stop. Do not stop. Just keep going. Expand. Expand the rectangle. Maybe we even have volume trapped under Thursday's low. And if that's the case, I am definitely going to hold for the high of the day. And maybe even back up towards this area. But again, I want to see them expand up through this level. Not just work the underside of a peak formation in a down moving market. But I will say, so far, so good. Things can change in an instant, though, as you all well know. As you all well know, that things can instantly change. And, I mean, this looks okay for now. I'm not exactly risking the account right now. I'm up. I mean, you can see how far price has moved right now, and I am up $85. That's kind of stinks, but it's not about the money, it's about percents. But even percent-wise, that's ridiculously small. That's okay. I'm here to take the best trades that I possibly can, and honestly, I kind of thought CAD fit the bill. So if it keeps going to my profit target, you know, this could be a couple hundred, maybe. Which I'm not going to, you know, it's a couple $100. I'm not going to complain, but now I've came up. Look at this. This is a Head and Shoulders, but they've came up to the neckline of this W or this M, and it's stopped. Like I said, I want to see them explode up and keep going. These look like they're still set up for a squeeze. 1, 2, 3 to the low. Draw that line across. Second push down. 1, 2, 3 to the low. Not letting out anybody who tried to short this. Same thing with the NASDAQ. You know, you can kind of see the drives coming off peak formation. They're driving into the low 1. 2, 3 to the low. If we've got people caught under 2, which we do, are they going to continue to expand to the upside and hold those people in? Those are my thoughts. That is my process. I definitely don't want to see them put in a lower high since I am long on this. I want to see them make a higher high. And I've been testing out a new method of risk management. Not risk management, trade management. In parabolic moves like this, if we get a down close candle on the 5-minute chart that then results in them going higher. So if this closed is like a down close candle, and then the next candle continued to go higher, I'm going to start trailing stops below those types of candles from my own back testing. And I know that for some of you that are probably a bit newer here, you may or may not have heard me talk about this, but my biggest struggle in trading right now is holding trades that are meant to go far. There's a lot of trades that, especially like NASDAQ gold and oil, that go 200-300 pips. But I've got very comfortable just taking 50 and being done for the day, which is great. It's fantastic. But I'm trying to always continue to get better. And this is how I look to do that. I've been trading profitably. Everything's going really well. Very good at taking 50 to 75 pips out of the market. But on those days where the market is set up to go 200-300 pips, and I just take 50, that is a failure on my part. Having not recognized that setup is there, willing and capable of doing something larger. So this is going to be my method to the madness for trying to find the larger expansions and hold trades that I believe are going to go further. I could do that, just take 50 and let one contract run. But the only problem with that is, like, let's say that my average entry is right here and I take profit right now. But if my average entry, let's say I took an entry here and I took an entry here, and I close a contract, they're going to put my average entry all the way up here. It's going to suck me up higher. And I don't really want to do that. So, and I'm a fan of taking partials, but again, on days where it's not meant to be a scalp and I believe it's going to be something larger, I want to get better at just holding and allowing things to play out. Okay, we're 4 minutes to the New York Open, and it is pumped up into that peak formation high and stopped. That's not particularly ideal. Hey, okay, that's a good Google question. Not to tell you that I don't want to help you, but I think it'd probably be best or easiest to just Google that. Okay, we've got 2 minutes until the New York Open. I think, right? Yeah, 2 minutes. Spark. Yeah, that's what I was just explaining, is that if I'm in a parabolic move that I believe is going to expand and continue to go further or whatever, for example, this down close candle here, if the next candle forms and continues to go higher, I'm going to start trailing my stops underneath those down close candles in an up move, because that's where traders should be trapped. And on the flip side of that, if I was short and there was a strong up close candle on the 5-minute chart, not any other time frame, just the 5, I'm going to trail stops that way as well and try and catch the larger maneuvers. Because, like I said, I've got very good at taking 50 or so pips out of the market, but some of these days where the market was capable and willing to go much further. Okay, so a new 5-minute bar is just formed. That 5-minute bar engulfed the previous bar. Is this going to turn into an M after they've traded up into this peak formation high, or is this going to go vertical up through the high? So kind of to help better explain this, for example, if the market were to go vertical up through this high and close higher than this candle on this 5-minute bar, I would drag my stop from break even, which I'm at break even right now, and I would pull it up under here. And then if it were to keep expanding that way, I would just keep repeat that process over and over again. Big thing, I need to see, this would be like base rally, right? But reality is I need to see them explode. Oh, okay. Now I don't want this to turn into a pen. This needs to continue to expand. Do not turn into a pen. They need to just trade higher and close higher than this high. And not, because they've traded up through the high now, but that could just be the trap inducing longs into the market. Boy, I really should have been focusing on some of the indexes. Whatever. I made my bet. I'm going to lay in it. If this is my trade for today, then this is my trade for today. Okay, we got 13 seconds to this bar closes. If it's going to make its move, it's going to make it within the last few minutes of this. Oh, wait, that says 2 minutes. Haha, just kidding. 2 minutes until this bar closes. All right, we're getting a little ripsky to the upside. And I have just closed one of my contracts on this pair. So I have taken partial profits now. And my break even, I'm still at break even, which is fine. And my overall target is still where is my overall target? Let's see. Well, on my broker page, it looks a little different. That's my target right there. Do 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 do. I would really like to see this bar just keep on expanding to the upside. Because on my broker, it's expanding to the downside. We've got 5 seconds now till this bar closes, which is quite good. I'm more than happy with that. Now what I can do is, on my management process, I'm going to take my... Ooh, that would have been bad. We're going to take this. Which you can't see what I'm doing, but that's okay. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. And I put my stop now underneath this candle. Locked in a little bit of gains, not a lot. Not a lot. And to be fair, with Top Step, you know, you need 5 to receive a... But if not, then whatever. Can you hear me still? Someone said it went quiet and I bumped my mic, so I want to make sure that y'all can still hear me. All right. I'm going to unplug and plug it back. Can you hear me now? Okay. Now, watching the CAD, it would sure be a shame to watch them come all the way back down and stop me out at break even. But you know what? I am trying out this new management process, and I'm going to let it follow through. I'm going to do exactly what I said I was going to do. That was my plan when I started. Things are working out okay as we sit. So I'm going to just going to let it happen, you know. What's the worst that could happen? I'm already risk-free on the trade, and I've already made money. Even if it's not a lot, you know, it's not going to hurt my feelings any. Murray, that's fantastic. I love hearing stuff like that. What is a 5-minute chart? Oh, I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart looks pretty good. This is, so for reference, on my broker, this is what it looks like for me right now. This is kind of the pattern that I'm looking at. All right, we got a little up or down close bar. Not an inside bar, but it's a down close bar. So again, if the market continues to expand to the upside, then I can move my stops further. But if they do a little 3 push pattern back down, they might wind up hitting my stop at break even. Well, break even plus. And then we will call that for what it is. And I wouldn't even, you know why I wouldn't be mad? I wouldn't be mad because I followed my plan. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I've executed this trade to the best of my ability. It's a good trade. And it just didn't expand or work out as far as anticipated. And that's, I mean, that's perfectly fine. That's trading. Very nice. What about everybody else? Did anybody catch US 30 short? What else did everyone take? Did anybody get scared and not take anything, or no shame in that? Anybody maybe not see things clearly and get shaken out, whatever that word is? I think this is a really good example of why US 30 was the better pair to watch. You know, it was first green day, peak formation low, level 1, level 2, level 3, peak formation high, 930 opens up and goes vertical to the downside. But the reason is it's better is because they trigger previous day's high. That's that other time frame trader aspect, making it more of the better pair to be watching. Now, oil is broke down and worked back down into peak formation low at the low of the day after triggering previous day's low. And they are working that peak formation. So is this going to turn into a short squeeze? And if it does, well, that is going to be kind of bad for my CAD trade, which is fine. That's Movic, yeah. Yesterday's high, they triggered that. That's why I had both of the indexes up, but I do think this was the better option, not only because of the pattern. The pattern was fairly similar on both, but this one had triggered previous day's high, which automatically, in theory, you know, makes it the better pair. Went short on oil, but bailed out just before 9:30 open. Wasn't moving. Hey, break even is still not losing money. Nothing wrong with that. Boy, the CAD went straight up and is now just coming straight back down. That is the most A-top of A-tops anybody or I've ever seen. Wild. Euro USD. Let's take a look. Did it keep going down? Yep. I was watching for pump and dump on this one. If that was going to be the easy money trade, this is kind of where the pump began. But I got sucked into the CAD. Pound yen. I think I looked at this one earlier and it was very on the inside. And they still haven't triggered previous day's low. Last week was an inside week. And then before the session began, we had still not triggered previous day's high or low. So we're in an inside market, completely on the inside. This is not something that I would want to be watching. Can I go through gold? Sure. Let's take a look at gold. Gold had space to get back down to where the move began. Push 1, 2, 3, level 1, level 2, level 3. Broke down and started running. I was looking for low-hanging fruit back down through the low if it presented. Would I still have that thesis now? I don't know. But yeah, that was my original idea. Just now joining. John, I look at the 5 and the 15. 5-minute chart is really good for, looking at the. Sorry, 5-minute chart's really good for looking at the daily template. And I'm not trading on the 5-minute chart. My entries were on the 1. Oh, they're going to stop me out. Those dirty little dogs. All right, they just stopped me out for the rest of that position. So I am glad to have taken profit where I did. Man, that was just, I sat in that trade for way too long and I didn't make, I mean, there's just crickets in the background at this point. Like little $85 win. And they came a few ticks away from my take profit, which kind of hurts the soul. But again, I followed my process. I followed my plan. I was going to hold and wait for the expansion to the upside. But, you know, market will do whatever it's going to do. I got to tell you, that was not worth it. I don't think I'm going to be trading on the CAD futures anymore. I mean, look how strong this move was for $85 is kind of ridiculous. Sounds like a position sizing issue. In a way, I'm on my funded account and I can't use more than 2 contracts right now. So I was in on full size. And I was holding with full size up until right up in here. I took partials and then it ran. And I opted to not close, which, you know, that could have been a mistake, but that's okay. Brave to experiment live. Well, I mean, it's safe, right? Does it break even? It's not gonna. You know, it's not gonna really hurt me. All right, we're coming into the 3rd hour now, and in about what, 7 minutes. So I'll keep watching. Maybe for like another 15 to 30 minutes or so. You can really see the short squeeze that I was talking about. Where's 930s open? So that big down close candle on oil was 930s open. Shaky maybe, but I'm not going to go long at the high of the day. Like obviously, yeah, there's a lot of room for that to happen, but as far as like risk goes and things like that, I personally do not like going long at the high of the day. And also, you know, we've kind of stair-stepped our way up here. Ooh, copper. Let me take a look. I don't really watch copper that much, or at all. But, you know, it doesn't... The pair is irrelevant. Let me go take a look. Copper... One day of breakouts, 2 days of breakouts, 3 days of breakouts, right in the beginning of the week. Peak formation at the high of the week. Came down once, twice. I don't know. At this point, I probably wouldn't be watching this one. I think the better trade was actually at 7 o'clock this morning when they put in that new peak formation high above previous day's high. Celeste. So like I know it's not up on over here, but you're looking at copper. So the peak formation high that was made in Asia, and then they dropped down, went into consolidation until about 2:30, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this morning, and it pulled back, and then it worked at previous day's high and made that peak formation high 7 o'clock on the dot. That 5-minute bar or 15-minute bar was the ideal entry. So it kind of feels like the trade is already gone if it was going to go. It's kind of getting late in the session. They're still pumping up. Yeah, the NASDAQ 15-minute chart really does look like a... I don't know. They put it back up at the high of the day, which is fine, but something doesn't feel right. Yeah, it is still Monday, too. We're still pretty early in the week. I'm certainly in no rush for anything. You know, I'm happy to have taken that CAD trade and then not exactly putting my account forward leaps and bounds, but at least it went in the right direction, I guess. And the thesis was correct, which was good. Excuse me. Let's see. Got about 153 in here right now. It's not bad. Only 94 likes on the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge favor. I would greatly appreciate if you just took a couple seconds out of your day and flick your little mouse over and click that button. It does really help the stream, and gets this content out to more people, which I think would be widely beneficial for a lot of newer traders, I'm sure. All right, so 1 minute chart NASDAQ. The last time that they were very heavily inducing shorts was right here. 9:30 opened up right there. And they spiked the low once, twice, 3 times. They ascended the close and ripped to the upside, just absolutely obliterating anybody who tried to go short off the open. So that means that we've got people caught short down in that area. Okay, man. No, I've never done that. Looking at future charts with only the NASDAQ or NY market open focus on it. No. I mean, you could. I'm not saying that's wrong or you shouldn't do that, but I don't know. I just like having all of the information leading up to the market open. I suppose that would be a personal preference. NASDAQ 15-minute chart, 2 15-minute bars ago, they pinned down. And then 15 minutes ago, they pinned up. Shaky, are you in long or short? Okay. So I don't know if you were catching on to what I was doing, but I'm looking at I already know there's people trapped short down here. But if this was going to turn into a short squeeze and this down leg here, where would people be caught? Thinking about the pattern and things like that. So if I've got people short caught down here, Maybe they were caught underneath some bars here. Would want to be watching and looking for evidence that those people are, in fact, truly caught. Asimovic, I have a feeling, I'm not telling you that you're right, but that's not a bad pattern. I don't know where you got in. And we still got that space to get down. I would just be watching to see if this was leg 1 back up, leg 2 back up, leg 3 back up, where's the long caught in that up move? And then the same thing on the downside, where would the shorts be caught? There's an inducement bar that reversed. We've got people caught trying to trade short, and it reversed and pulled back. It's kind of a tight range. Inducement bar. Okay, so take a look at the candles. Find the ones that are small, and then find the ones automatically. Don't think about it. Just which ones stand out to the absolute most on the chart. And you can do this on any time frame, but if you don't have the full story, the bars that are, look at all this, and then all of a sudden spiking down, spiking down, spiking down, spiking up. So that they're spiking up and spiking down in this range. That's what I mean by inducement bars. The bars that I believe the market is trying to get me, the trader, to take action. And of course, I'm not just doing that to take a trade. Like sitting here on the 1 minute chart and looking at the bars is ridiculous. That makes no sense. I use that as a way of, okay, I've got a 15-minute or a larger time frame, a larger weekly thesis, or a thesis about the day. We're in a down moving market. I've got 3 levels of, whatever it may be, whatever my larger thesis is. But I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to time my entry, looking at the behavior of who's caught where and when. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not down on the 1 minute chart just looking for whatever to try and get in. That's absolutely not what I'm doing. It's just a way of analyzing psychology of what is happening in the market at that given time to help me get in effectively. at the best possible place for me and not for the, other side of the screen. Manuel, excuse me. Wow. Took my first trade since the course, and this was the best trade of my life. I already see the market different. Man, that makes me feel good. You coming off of that week with me last week and then being able to say that and say, I'm starting to see things with a bit more clarity. That's exactly, what the goal of that week-long thing was. So, it's amazing. Arroyo, good stuff. I also appreciate y'all saying that because, these live streams are not meant for me to sit here and try and sell y'all something, but I'll say that when I see people saying stuff like that, it does make me feel pretty good because that means that my ability to teach and actually relay information, I'm teaching it the right way, so that gives me good insight. So thank you for that. Boy, NASDAQ is really doing some work, isn't it? Look at those pins on the 15-minute chart, every which direction. $500 pip take profit? Yeah, I don't think you can complain with that one, can you? Good. That's awesome. Now, of course, you got to understand that not every trade is going to be a huge home run like that. Certainly not for me, but 500 points. Yeah, that's true. Not every trade's going to be like that, but boy, when they present, don't they? Yeah, please, Manuel, please feel free to send that to me on Discord. I'll go take a look at it. this UPS guy just be honking his horn over and over again. Make my dogs go crazy. Look what happened here. So in this NASDAQ move down, they've triggered the low. But if I was short down here, did they put me in profit? Maybe a little bit. But they triggered people in. My dog's barking set y'all's dogs off. That's... Oh gosh, they're going nuts. Oh my gosh, please stop barking. I love them to death. But the barking is insane. Okay, so timing wise, big creeper down. A new 15-minute bar just opened right there. They opened the 15-minute bar at the low. Okay, now we're getting some expansion. Let's watch the good old 5-minute chart here. All right, we're getting some decent expansion now down to the downside. Working down into the low of the day. All right, that's a little over 300 locked in. We're getting kind of late in the session. We traded all the way back down to the low of the day. Reason for me closing was the fact that we went from high of day all the way back down to the low of day in a couple candles. That's pretty good for me. Total profit for today, not to make it about money, but people are interested, and I'm on a funded account, so it's not like it's my money anyways, so who really cares? A little over 400 on the day. And I'm out. I'm flat. Do I think this is going to continue to run? Kinda. Honestly, I think that we have a good amount of downside potential. And maybe I should have managed this like I told you I was going to do with the CAD. Let's see here. Engulfment, pin hammer. My entry short. Explosion. I don't know how many, like pips wise, how much this is. I just closed. So about 38 to the downside. Really not a... That was on one contract, so it's not like it's a massive win. But 38 pips straight down in 4 minutes. I'm not going to be upset about that. That's not bad. All right, thesis. We're already in a down moving market as it is. Level 1, level 2, level 3, up, down, up, engulfment, pin hammer. And then now coming out of level 3, this could be a larger peak formation for the day, but overall, we've got volume up top. This is where the pump kind of began, down over here. And of course, we've got closing price and stuff from yesterday. I am a little upset with myself because I didn't follow what I just told you all I was going to do, which is 5-minute bars, stuff like that. But that's for me to work out on my own. Still a good profitable trade, 40 pips straight down. How'd y'all do today? I feel pretty good with this. I was a little with the CAD trade. And having taken that, I was kind of willing to just not take another trade today at all and just be done. But this, behavior-wise, again, they started letting these shorts out. Engulfment, pin hammer, this is a large descending triangle. That's it. That's really it. The fact that they had shorts trapped at the open and it ran it back up and then peak formation high and started letting them out. Creeping trends either result in two things: blow off in the direction or reverse. And that one was showing me that there's a good probability that it was going to blow off because we're in level 3 at the high of the day. And they've been consolidating at the high of the day for like 6 hours. Shaky, I do hope that you didn't try to, these streams are not here for me to tell you all what to do and what not to do. I can just imply and give my best thoughts, but I do hope that you didn't try to keep going long and result in what's happened here. Another thing, Shaky, if you did try to do that and you're trying to look for a good review process of why that wasn't a good idea, down leg, up close candles, and they kept going lower, up close candles. Notice the up close candles, they're not letting out the longs anymore. And they keep dragging lower. Okay, Shake, so you went short. Toby, yep, sorry. I was thinking out loud, which may have made you all a bit hesitant, so I do apologize for that if that's what happened. But I was thinking out loud, the fact that they opened this 15-minute bar at the low, I was a little bit worried that they were going to, if they would have engulfed that 15-minute bar back up to the upside and start letting out the longs, I would have got out immediately. It's over with. I'm done. But that didn't happen, so that allowed me to get in. And my soul hurts a little bit because I just did exactly what I said I should. High of day, level 3, parabolic trade. I should not have closed until either previous day's low or, I should have been trailing my stop down. But again, that is a process that I personally need to work on. I'm going to continue to try and get better at extending some of these larger trades to the downside. And just stop getting, I'm really good at taking 40 or 50 pips out. But like I said earlier, I really want to get better and keep improving on certain trade setups to allow it to go the distance. Like right now, I should be up 85 pips and still holding. So that 40 pip, $400 win would be looking more like 1,000 plus. Again, it is what it is. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I said I was going to end the stream around 10:30. I have taken my trades for today and done reviews on all of them. Really happy with today. No complaints. I think the market, I was talking about it last night, that it looked like it was setting up really well for something. And there you go. That's as simple as it gets. 3 levels of rise. Holding it at the high, peak formation high for the drop coming out of level 3 in a down moving market. Same setups that we saw all last week. Showed up again today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be doing these streams all this week until I can't because I'm getting married, like I said, and I know I keep saying that. I'm not looking for congratulations, but I just want you all to know that I will be trading live here on YouTube all week long until I can't. But it's for a good reason. And then I will see you all again. I think the week after this as well, I should be good to trade. But you all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all tomorrow. If you've got questions or you would like to attend the webinars that I've got set up in May, let me know. But if not, I'll just keep doing my thing here on YouTube, and y'all can keep learning from the free content, and that's perfectly fine too. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.